Ordinary launched their very first face mask, and it happens to be for acne-prone skin. There are some things that I love about it and some things that I hate about it, and I'm saying this without ever having tried it. Today we're going to do a first impressions review. I'm going to try this for the first time on my skin, and I want to discuss why this product is different from anything else they've done, from ingredients to how it's formulated to the price, and also some of the more controversial things, such as the founder's untimely death, such as the company being purchased by Estee Lauder, such as some of the pricing discrepancies and things that have been going on. So first off, this face mask launched just about 2 months ago, and it was The Ordinary's first mask that they ever created. And I love that it happens to have salicylic acid, which means it's formulated for blemish-prone skin. Now, what was really interesting about this launch is the way they marketed it, specifically how it goes against some of the founding principles that The Ordinary had. But before we talk about that, let's actually get to putting it on the face so that we can talk while it dries. We're going to talk about the ingredients too, but the directions do say to use it once or twice a week on thoroughly clean skin. Do not use it on wet skin, only on dry skin. Leave it on for no more than 10 minutes and rinse with lukewarm water. I like that they say don't use it on sensitive, peeling, or compromised skin because it does have phenoxyethanol, which is a preservative that a lot of companies use to replace parabens, but it can cause some irritation for some people. So that being said, let's put this on. I'm gonna put the hair up and we're gonna see how this do. And what's also interesting and what I don't like is the way that I found out about this product. So The Ordinary was launched a few years ago, and the founder who launched it was pretty controversial, and I didn't know a lot of his story until I started really using and loving a lot of The Ordinary's products. Well, something that the founder said before he died is that they don't do advertising. Yes, they post on their own social accounts, they post on their own social media, and I know for a while they were sending products out to bloggers, but they never paid for marketing. And they claimed that the reason that The Ordinary was so inexpensive, with prices like under $10 for really potent acids, is because the packaging is so minimal, they didn't have to pay for expensive fancy branding, and they didn't have to pay for a huge marketing budget. A lot of people don't know how gigantic marketing budgets are, and a huge amount of the cost of a product goes into the marketing, sometimes up to 70%. So literally, when you buy something from Sephora, 70% of what it cost you might have gone to creating advertisements and doing promotions around it. Crazy, right? So the whole thing about The Ordinary is that they said that they don't do that kind of stuff. They believed that the products spoke for themselves. They didn't need or want to do it. Yes, they would talk to news outlets, they would do their own social media, but they were not out here paying for some fancy billboards. Well, guess what happened with this launch? I found out about it on Facebook. Who is on Facebook anymore? I'm on Facebook, whoops. And I actually got an advertisement for The Ordinary. And it was only the product, so there wasn't like any celebrity endorsement or celebrity sponsor. Ooh, I got this in my hair. But it was so interesting to me because before the founder had died, he said that that was never a part of the line. And now, all of a sudden, I see them doing this kind of stuff. And again, it might not be such a big deal, but because of the strange circumstances surrounding the founder's very unfortunate and untimely death, and seeing as he was disrupting the beauty industry and a lot of other cosmetic companies did not like what he was doing, it was a little bit suspicious. And I've spoken about this in other videos, but The Ordinary was then purchased by Estee Lauder. Estee Lauder is a huge parent company, so they own multiple makeup companies, you know, such as Lancome or things like that, and Estee Lauder themselves. But a lot of these brands are owned by the big parent company, and people don't realize that they're connected. The Ordinary was purchased by them, and a lot of stuff changed internally. But again, because they're not a public company, we don't know about all of the things that went down or all of those conversations that were had. And some people say that the death of Truax, the founder, was not an accident. Other people say it was a suicide. Other people say that it was purposeful. I'm not here to comment on that, and I can't because I was not there in Canada at the time that it happened. All I can say is that as a consumer, I'm devastated that somebody who was intelligent, who was kind to animals, who was a little bit radical, but I think in a good way, is lost. A true visionary. And that sucks because it kind of makes me think, what would the beauty world be like if he was still around making radical movements and pissing a lot of people off? So that being said, The Ordinary has still kind of stuck to this low pricing model. The only thing that I noticed is that some people say that the pricing has been going up. Can somebody fact check this for me? Because I don't have screenshots of the original prices and I would like to compare them. But something that is interesting is that this face mask in particular retails at about $12, 12 or 13 US dollars. Now, why is that interesting? Face masks can be way more expensive than this, right? Well, for The Ordinary, I find that that's a little bit on the higher end. And when you look at their salicylic acid 2%, so just the main acid at 2%, it's only like $5 or $6. This one's a lot more expensive. And also, let's look at the size. So this is 1.7 fluid ounces. And obviously that's a measure of a liquid because this mask happens to be a liquid that dries onto the skin. And also I'll give you some first impressions because I kind of feel it doing something right now. But what's interesting is that when you convert 1.7 fluid ounces into grams, you know, it depends on the formula, it depends on what's in it, but that would be about 30 grams. Now here's the thing, to use a face mask, you need about 8 to 10 grams of a product to cover the face, depending on how much of it you're using. And more, you'll just get more coverage, or more of it, less you'll get less. Now what's interesting is that if you are applying this with that guideline in mind, this is only like 28, 30 grams, you would only get 3 uses out of this. When you look at it, 1.7 fluid ounces might be good for like a serum or something, but this is basically like a travel-sized product. You're legally allowed to bring this on a plane. And obviously, this price point is still way better than a lot of other things on the market. But the question is, do the ingredients hold up? Does it actually work on acne-prone skin? And I'm kind of upset because for The Ordinary, I feel like that's a little bit steep. I mean, think about it. I've been spoiled for the past couple of years with like $5 acids and like really good serums for under 10 bucks. And now they come out with a mask that is literally kaolin clay and some charcoal and some squalene and some salicylic acid, and they're charging me almost 13. So that's a little bit tricky. And it's been making me wonder if whoever purchased the brand, whoever's in charge of it, is starting to change up the pricing model. Can we please get together and do some digging, and let's get Instagram style fake forensic up here and try to track down what the prices used to be versus what they currently are, because I would like to know if they have changed. So that is something that I'm a little bit upset about, but when it comes to how it actually works, that's really the take home, right? Because this is still less expensive than other products. So first off, when I applied it, it was pretty easy to smooth on. It went on somewhat evenly. There are some places that I feel like I could use a little bit more coverage, and it definitely got into my hairline. I'm not having any major breakouts right now. I'm having, I think, one over here, and then I always have some little blackheads and some sebaceous filaments. Now, when I put this on, didn't feel like anything. Now that I've had this on for about 4 minutes, it feels like it's starting to tingle. I was expecting it to dry because of the ingredients. I feel like it's still pretty wet. It's still pretty tacky and moist to the touch. So it's not like the Indian healing clay mask that like tightens up on your face, and it doesn't even feel tight. It feels a little bit stingy, but not in a bad way. Now, I've never been burned by salicylic acid. My face can take a lot of damage, and having acne for so long, I've used salicylic acid for years. Salicylic acid is an ingredient that is medically proven to treat acne. Basically works by loosening up the glue or the oil that's in your skin. It's a BHA, beta hydroxy acid, which means it's oil soluble. So it breaks down the oil and helps your skin exfoliate naturally. And salicylic acid is also anti-inflammatory. Comes from the same place that aspirin does. So when you take an aspirin for pain, related to salicylic acid, and that's why salicylic acid has been shown to be anti-inflammatory topically on the skin. But what's interesting is that there are some other ingredients in here. I'm not gonna go through every one, but if you want me to, let me know. What's interesting is kaolin clay. Kaolin clay is great. I love it in my skincare products. It is a type of clay that really grabs onto dirt and debris and helps to dry it up. So after loosening up some of that oil, this could soak it up. We do have some glycerin, which is hydrating, and it's probably why this mask is not drying onto my skin very well either. We do have some silica, which probably makes it smooth. Again, our salicylic acid, which is the active at 2%. Down the list, we've also got some charcoal powder. Charcoal powder is great, and it is used in hospitals for medicine. If someone comes in with an overdose, you actually pump their body with charcoal to help get rid of some of the toxins. Brita water filters use charcoal to filter out their water. And charcoal in general can be really great for skincare too. I assume that this is from a burnt coconut source, but they don't exactly say. We've got a couple of other things in there, a couple different acids. The very last ingredient is phenoxyethanol, and again, that might be what's causing some of this burning, because I've never been burned by salicylic acid before, but I find that phenoxyethanol at higher concentrations can irritate my skin. Now legally, phenoxyethanol has to be under 1%, at least in products sold within the US. So it's not a lot, but seeing as I can kind of feel it on my skin, I wonder if there's a little bit more of it in this one. Again, it's not bad, it's not painful. And I should have done like a spot test, but this is what it is. So it's not really drying on the skin like I expected it to. It doesn't feel bad, but it doesn't feel like another clay mask that I've used. I almost want it to dry on the skin because that's how I'm used to using face masks, but I'm okay with this. So now that it's been on for a second, let's sip a little bit more of this tea. It's actually coffee. Maybe cuddle a kitten, and then it says to rinse off with warm water. So that's what we're gonna do. I just have that one face mask finger. Does this happen to anybody else? You've never seen me with a face mask on, have you? Does it smell funny? You can't lick it. You can't bite it. Look at how big she's already gotten. She's gigantic. Hi. You guys, should we just have like a 5-hour video of Bucket playing? Let me know. Also, I want to do a video on a kitty cat spa day, but I'm having a hard time finding skincare or bath products that are kitty cat safe. Ow, any recommendations? Also, someone help me train my cat. I don't want her to grow up being like a feisty kitten human cannibal because she bites everything. Okay, now it's time to wash my face. Whew, okay. All clean. As I was rinsing it off, it almost felt a little bit scratchy, almost like, you know, there were small exfoliating particles in there. It feels a little bit scratchy. When I look at the ingredients, I'm assuming that it's probably the charcoal or potentially the kaolin clay. There are a couple of other ingredients, maybe the silica it could be. And again, this is meant to be a chemical exfoliant. Because it has salicylic acid, it naturally exfoliates the skin in a chemical, even way. A physical exfoliant actually does this manually through the use of grains or texture, etc. And so I wasn't expecting it, but when I took it off, it almost felt a little bit physical, which I don't dislike per se. I just prefer chemical exfoliants. It was a little bit difficult to get off, but so is every good face mask. And now that I have it off the skin, I have not put anything else on yet. My skin does feel quite dry. And for any good face mask, that's kind of to be expected. I usually need to moisturize after using a face mask. The way I know my face feels dry is because it feels a little bit tight. So definitely my skin feels ready to accept a really good serum, potentially another salicylic acid one or a glycolic acid one that would really layer nicely over this, and then a moisturizer or a sunscreen if I actually plan to go outside today. And overall, I would have to use this a couple of times to see if there is any lasting difference. Overall, the texture of my skin doesn't really look any different. My blackheads and sebaceous filaments were not extracted. Again, I would probably need to use this a few more times, but for a face mask, this is what I would expect. So what are my first impressions and overall thoughts? Let's be totally honest. For the price of $12, it is a great face mask. It is inexpensive, it has some great ingredients, it has some that are questionable, but so does every other brand, and it does what it says it does. But I am disappointed because I had higher expectations. This is the ordinary, but seeing as how I have been spoiled by their products in the past, I was expecting something that would really rejuvenate my skin, that would be less expensive, and honestly, that would have more product in it. There's a lot of air in this bottle. Like, it doesn't look like there's a lot missing, but like there's a lot of air. And I feel like I wouldn't get more than 4 or 5 uses out of this. And if I want to put this on my back, oh my God, my back has been having some breakouts. I mean, honestly, doing one back treatment with this, and I bet you half of the bottle would be gone. And for $12, like the Yes to Tomatoes has a very similar charcoal face mask that also has salicylic acid. And I think that one's like $8.99. And I'm like, for the ordinary, I was just expecting better. And in my head, I don't know if I'm projecting the death of the founder and that situation onto this product. I don't think I am. I just recognize that it's awesome that they finally have a face mask. I love that it happened to be for acne prone skin, but I'm also like, why are y'all marketing when you really don't need to, because people are hyped up on the internet about this already. Like, don't push that cost on us. And then the price was a little bit higher. So is it worth it? Yes, absolutely. But in my head, I'm still like, okay, what's going on? There are definitely better face masks on the market for acne-prone skin. You can get face masks that do have way better ingredients and way better actives, but for $12, it's a little bit difficult. Again, the most comparable one that I know of is Yes to Tomatoes at the drugstore, but that also does have a whole list of ingredients in there too, just the way this one does. If you've tried it, what do you think? And if you want to see my 3 favorite products by The Ordinary, you can click here. Here is the video of Bucket if you don't know how we rescued her, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.